our prayers, and I continue to invite you to write down your prayers. Our first prayer person is going to be Jalu Dorji, and you can come on up, Jalu. He is the 8th Churchin Takshem Rino Biche, and he is a wonderful young man. I've had the opportunity to have lunch with Jalu about 8 times this year at Highland Elementary. He's a student at Highland, and he is the perfect person to pray for us for our schools and the community.
Lama Dumba Jonde Detishi Banda Juba Yotaban Zobe Sanji Baja Shaja Duala Shantan Chodan Johnson Chirawo Niji Chabo Zibin Meji Soni Malan Chabo Wajada Beka Dango Tsudu Dumba Tuji Jana Shanta Do Shanshu Senshu Rumbo Jema Shepana Shiju Sheba Nyuba Meba Shokoni Kanto Pewa Sho. Good morning. My name is Taksham Chukwu Deli Dorje, and I attend 5th grade at Highland Elementary. I would like to say thank you for inviting me to Miradana Schmidt, city council members, and county sheriffs, police officers, firefighters, and brothers and sisters that are all gathered here this morning for a warm, wonderful prayer breakfast for our city and the rest of the world. I am a Buddhist monk. I am young, and I am very humbled and deeply moved that I was invited by Miradana Schmidt, and that all of you trust me to share some time with you in prayer. I was born in the United States in the state of Minnesota in the city of Columbia Heights. When I was 2 years old, I was recognized by His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama as the reincarnation of a spiritual teacher important to Tibetans. I was recognized as the rebirth of the 8th Daosha Choku, who was both the teacher and the student of the Great 5th Dalai Lama. I have a non-profit organization called Nima Padasha Buddhist Center. Its opening ceremony was in April 2016. It is not that fancy, and our meditation center meets our home. We host meditation practices where people pray for peace and happiness for all living beings. Starting in 2018, we will collect food and clothing for the homeless and needy and donate it to the Catholic Charities, Salvation, and the Epilepsy Foundation. I am receiving traditional monastic education that a teacher of Tibetan Buddhism would receive, including Tibetan history, Buddhist philosophy, and ritual education from my father. My father used to be a monk in Tibet and Nepal, and studied in Buddhist philosophy and trained in Buddhist ritual for many years. He works a lot in his simple job as his English is not the best, but every morning before school he takes time to teach me what he knows. We chant together, pray together, and meditate together every day. And I am lucky that my father was trained as a scholar and practitioner so that he can teach me. I hope when I am older I can teach meditation, world peace, and Tibetan Buddhist philosophy to benefit all living beings, as well as studying the science of mind. Now I will talk a little bit about Tibetan Buddhism. Buddhism was taught by the enlightened Buddha about 2,500 years ago. The original teachings of Buddhism have been passed down from teacher to disciple via the oral tradition and exponential transmission of the lineage masters from Buddha's time until now. When students receive these teachings, they study well by contemplating the meaning and applying it in actual practice. From this contemplation and meditation, they get a great deal of benefit, such as inner peace and happiness. The message of Buddha's teachings is based on non-violence. We train our minds to practice compassion, loving kindness, joy, and equanimity. These four positive qualities are innate due to our nature. But due to our ignorance, these qualities are not fully activated. When we meditate, we are activating these qualities within ourselves. We can generate via our meditation practice, compassion, and loving kindness to benefit all living beings. We focus our mind on compassion and concentrate it toward all beings who are suffering from sickness, depression, anxiety, and so forth. We remind ourselves in our meditation practice that we should love others as we love ourselves and care for them with the same kindness as we would care for our own children. In this way, if we train our mind via our spiritual practice, we can develop and maintain these healthy qualities and never harm other living beings. The essence of Buddhist philosophy can be summarized in two main points. The first is compassion, and the second is wisdom. We train in compassion by being kind, loving, and caring for all beings equally, as we care for our own family. We should experience joy when we see or hear that other people have good lives, are healthy, or are successful. Try not to be jealous of the happiness of others. If we realize that all beings are the same in wishing for happiness, like we wish for happiness, and that they don't want to suffer like we don't want to suffer, then we can train our mind in equanimity. Training our mind this way will let go of aversion toward some and attachment toward others. This type of impartial or unconditional compassion and loving kindness toward all is how we grow our wisdom and can be benefit to others in this world. Otherwise, all sorts of problems arise because of our attachment to ourselves or toward our loved ones. When we only cherish our own happiness, suffering arises. Buddha taught us to cherish others by realizing that they are the same as we are. They wish for happiness and want to avoid suffering. Once we realize they all have the same wishes as we do, we can see the wisdom of practicing the four immeasurables: measurable compassion, measurable loving kindness, measurable joy, and immeasurable equanimity. Immeasurable means unlimited or unconditioned. These qualities are not limited to only those we feel close to and give rise to them without a second thought. We just do it. To condense the meaning of these four qualities, we can say that we should have a kind heart and care for all living beings. Besides training our mind in the four immeasurable qualities of compassion, loving kindness, joy, and equanimity, the essence of Buddhist philosophy is the union of emptiness and interdependent origination. This is Buddhist wisdom. All phenomena arise due to causes and conditions that are dependent on each other. For anything to function in this world, it needs or depends on others. There is nothing that just arises by itself, independent of everything. The wisdom of Buddhist philosophy recognizes the interconnected nature of all living beings and our shared environment. This understanding or wisdom of interdependence is the center of the Buddhist science of mind, because we see and appreciate the interconnectedness of all beings. We work toward global peace, harmony via all of our actions, body, speech, and mind. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jalu. That was very inspiring. We are so honored to have you at our prayer breakfast and to have you in Columbia Heights, helping us learn about loving kindness and equanimity. Thank you so much.